So really quick while I am on the roof, as a part two, so I had this flag facing more forward, I think last year. No, that's how we had it, but I brought these 8-foot, so this used to be a prop from Lowe's many years ago. It was a round tree that I had split in two. But we painted them black, everything black except the icicles. We added some stars up here, so I literally just created these out of 5 pieces of PVC, painted them black. I think they got 135 maybe 132, it doesn't matter. I know it's an even, I think 13 on each, so 26 per point, so 26 times 5, yeah, 130 each. And we just have a rope going over, I have tied down on the other side, and it kept those bad boys from moving all season long. And if you're way back there in line, and it goes all the way around the cul-de-sac and wraps around, usually got 50, 60, 100 people in line at a time. I wanted to give them more stuff to look at this side. So I guess I got a better view. We got our floating joy sign that we created this year. Because what I was trying to do is get something that you could see from the street over the arches, because this area was an absolute, like, just black, dense hole. So last year I filled in the side with the fireworks and the joy signs and all that stuff, so I moved that joy sign over here. In the driveway here, we have a 26-foot inflatable Santa that we had up that went above. I mean, his head would be about where my head is right now. So that filled that in, put a big bright light on him. So we created that whole side over here this year. This is all new props. I got my Addie's cross in honor of my good friend Sherry and her family. Another thing I'm going to do next year, those white trees, 1 strand of white lights on them. Yeah, they weren't fluffed correctly. I didn't get around to doing it. I trusted other people to fluff my trees, and they're not, they're not elves. So, but those actually like glow. You put just wrap them around, just do a spiral tree, and the whole tree like glows up. That's pretty cool. So I had those presents, so I popped those up. They kept breaking, they're not very sturdy. So I reinforced them, 5 pieces of rebar. And then I got 2 of those arches late season. So I did put one up, I put the teddy bear there. We got some of the deer that my old man did. We've restored those over the last 2 years, along with all the gingerbread stuff. And I'll show you guys that from down below. I'll get a video from down below. So this is all new again on this side of the house this year, besides more moving heads. So I got these star flakes, these 32-inch GE star flakes. I got 4 over here, and ended up moving. There's supposed to be 2 that stuck out the side, but I was like, you know what? Once I started doing this, so that wreath set, I got that from my owner of my old job, I want to say 15 years ago. That wreath, I paid him $75 that I had to have him payroll deducted. I'm not making this up, out of 10 paychecks. So $750 a week, because that's all I could afford back then. And I probably couldn't afford it, but man, I needed to have it. And I'd never put it up on I never could figure out how to get up on the house. And by the time I learned how to use pulleys and stuff, and you can somewhat see that right there. Put an eye hook up real top and pull them up. So we added 300 lights to that, and just did some spirals on it. And then we actually, you can see this bow I got from Lowe's. It was like an outdoor decoration, and I got it for like 35, 40 bucks. Once again, maybe a decade ago, and never used it. And never could figure it out. So we wrapped that sucker with pixels, zip tied, my mother-in-law and Candace, and went nuts on that. And yeah, that really cool. That was a white snowflake, the Boscoyo 5-point. That was on the roof of the gingerbread house, but I wanted to clean that up, so I moved that over here, filled that spot in. HD presents, so got those up. My goal was to get some gumdrops or Evos in that this year. Never got around to it, but I got the pixels, so that'll be a project for 2025. Got some GE custom-made dandelion, gingerbread dandelions for in there. So that sled, that sleigh, we wrapped with seed pixels. I'll try to get better pictures and everything from closer, but while I was up on the roof, I figured I'd grab this view, and it really came out spectacular. All this was so when people are waiting in line down the street, they'd have more to look at. So I plan on spreading out into the neighbor's yard next year. 2 houses over is my in-laws, and I'm going to be setting up a lot of my AC props over there that I plan on pixelizing this year, so we'll see. I do a lot of the, get those on Amazon on sale, those wire slots. It's really cool. You can run the wires right through it. They're basically a speed bump. People don't trip over the wires. So Ray Daniel, if you're watching this, that was my fix on that. So yeah, we got controllers everywhere. I started using these SRX2s that they put out. Really big fan of those. Great job on that. I like those as receivers. You could do a lot. And for structuring, as you can see, the backs of the props. So over here, this was a simple of 2 4 by 4 inch, 16-foot pieces of wood, lumber, concreted in the ground all year long. Anytime I was at the store, if they had any kind of darker paint, I'd buy it. So you'll see some green, some dark greens, some dark blues, some blacks on those, some 12-foot or 16-foot beams in the back, and a couple of legs in the front. And this thing has withstood. This was basically like kind of like thought up and free-handed. And I tried to get an angle that when you're centered at the show, you could see it. Archers ended up being a little bit higher than I did, or I would have had that up a little bit higher. You know, maybe next year I raise that joy sign up to the top part where the moving head is. And I think we're going to add another moving head on the side of that, or maybe do 2 also on the flank II. And yeah, I end up keeping those structures up all year. So on to part 3.